You may have realized that being healthy feels different than it did in the past now that you're over 50. If you want to maximize your health potential but don't have time to read through overwhelming pages of Google links, this is the show for you. Welcome to Healthy Tips After 50. We love doing the research, finding solutions, talking to health experts, and learning what works and what doesn't. Now, your host. She spent the last 25 years dedicated to feeling her best and is here to share her best findings with you, Susan Rosen.
Hello, everyone. This is your host, Susan Rosen. And my guest today is Amy Wilson. Couldn't screw that one up. Okay. I get some people on with names that are like, okay, can you pronounce that for me, please? So anyways, I shouldn't go down that line. Okay. Amy is a Board Certified Geriatric Pharmacist. And I don't know about anybody else, but I had to ask what that was because I was not familiar with it. And she can tell us a little bit about that. She is also a certified fitness professional and a certified nutrition coach using the Faster Way to Fat Loss platform. Are you still doing that too?
Yeah. I am. Yep. That is my other full-time job, I would say, is that a nutrition coach and pharmacist. So 2 full-time jobs.
Okay. Good. And you are disrupting the diet industry and helping her clients take their health back. And then I like one other sentence that was on here, which is that your mission is to empower and equip your clients to take charge of their health and find balance in their lives.
Yes.
Which I think is what everyone would like. Not all of us know exactly how to get there.
Oh, I think so. I think especially with diet, with nutrition, with all the things that are going on in your life, it's trying to find that happy medium, that's where you're not feeling like you're pulled in different directions and just overwhelmed. And yeah, definitely finding that balance.
And missing something. I think that's the other thing that goes along with that, is that then everybody thinks they're missing.
Oh, the fear of missing out, or FOMO, is huge. It is huge.
Yeah. Or missing that one thing that's going to make them feel better.
Yeah. Which honestly, we can get into this a little bit more, is that it really comes into fitness and nutrition. Those are the key elements to age backwards, is the key elements as we are older in our 50s to be where we want to be, whether it's lose some inches, because I'm not going to say lose weight, because I absolutely hate the scale, and we can get into that too. But it's to lose inches, to lose body fat, and to gain muscle. And once you have that balance in your health, everything else seems to fall into place.
Funny how that works, huh?
It really is. You ever notice, because you notice when things, like I was talking to one of my clients today, and she's like, if it wasn't for the way I feel, I wouldn't have jumped off to this project that she's doing, which is phenomenal. And I said, isn't that interesting? I said, it wasn't because you lost weight. It's because the energy that you have. It's because of how you feel. Is because you have this extra energy and feel this amazing self-confidence that came with that you're like, hey, I can do this project. Something I thought I'd never be able to do, but because I feel good, I'm feeding my body or fueling my body with good stuff, that I have this energy, that I'm stronger than I thought I was. And things just kind of go into a positive cyclic effect. It snowballs.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah.
And the opposite, you can do the opposite too. It can snowball negatively if we starve, if we don't eat right, if we don't move our body, if we have chronic inflammation, you can snowball and go downhill the other way too.
Yeah. And that can happen so fast that you don't even realize that it's happened.
It happens so fast that we were talking about this earlier, is that you don't get a diagnosis of diabetes. You don't get a diagnosis of hypertension overnight. You don't. It builds up. Yes. In our 20s and 30s, we might be a little bit more resilient, but that chronic inflammation that causes some of these conditions builds up until you finally hit a tipping point and your body says, no, not doing it anymore. And all of a sudden you have this chronic illness, disease. But what we keep forgetting is that that's not the stopping point. You can either get worse, or you can take your power that you absolutely have and light a flame, ignite whatever you want to do, and start to reverse that disease. Anybody can do it. There are certain conditions that you may not be able to go fully back into remission, but you surely can get better. And that, especially with prediabetes, especially with hypertension, those are, and even diabetes too, if it's not type 1 juvenile onset, if it's adult onset, you can reverse, you can get better. Same with blood pressure. You can reverse, you can get better and prevent other things from happening down the line. That's the problem, is that we start with one chronic illness and then it goes to another chronic illness and another chronic illness. And now, and I'm a pharmacist who doesn't want you on medication. I'm a pharmacist who does not want you in my nursing homes. And that is what I'm seeing. I am seeing 30s and 40s and 50s and 60-year-olds in my nursing homes, not 80s and 90s. And it's due to a lot of it's lifestyle. A lot of it is eating poor nutrition, not moving their body. So now we're looking at diabetes. And when we get diabetes, now we're looking at renal failure or kidney failure. Now we're looking at losing limbs, losing eyesight, losing feeling in your feet and your fingertips.
Okay.
And then we got hypertension, high blood pressure. We have high cholesterol. Then we're looking at strokes, heart attacks, and it just goes on, where we can, if we say, hey, I'm not going to live this life, this is not for me, and start working on our health. I'm not saying diet. I absolutely hate dieting. Dieting doesn't work. Counting calories doesn't work. Actually, counting calories got us in this mess in the first place. Eating diet food got us in this mess in the first place, because that stuff is loaded with chemicals. And I'm going to call out some certain, that is the lean cuisines. That's your healthy choice. That is your process. Weight Watchers who just went with Wegovy and Ozempic, just did a partnership with that. So now they're going to be doing,
oh my God.
Now they're going to be doing medication.
Oh no.
Instead of focusing on food. And my problem with Weight Watchers is that your weight is not what matters. When you lose weight, all it's saying is what your gravity pull is on this earth. It's not telling you that you're losing fat. It's not telling you what you're losing. And more than likely, if you're starving yourself, you are losing muscle. And as we age, we need all the muscle we can get, because muscle is our fountain of youth. Muscle is what's going to keep us out of those nursing homes. Muscle is what's going to keep you healthy. It's going to keep you from having major injury. It's going to keep you being able to keep up with your grandkids or just life in general, bringing groceries in, putting groceries up, you traveling and taking that overhead or that bag or in the overhead bin. Just doing those life things that we should be able to do. We're not meant to get frail. We're not meant to get weak. We're meant to keep thriving no matter what age we are. And I don't know why we give up after 50. I don't know why we think that we have to just slow down and we'll just get the rocking chair and I earned this. Well, okay, you don't need to stop. Yeah, you may not you earn the right to not do the hustle and the bustle anymore, but that doesn't mean you earn the right to sit. You now need to be even more active than you were in your 20s and 30s. Now you really need to develop that muscle. Now you really need to watch and not really watch what you eat, but get that nutrition in. Eat.
Right.
And that doesn't mean keto. That doesn't mean whatever fad is. That means learning how to eat protein, learning how to eat carbohydrates, learning how to eat fat. What it does mean is getting rid of processed food or ultra processed food, which is the prepackaged stuff, which is the convenient stuff. And that is hard. That is hard. But the reward to learn how to do that and the reward of how you feel is just crazy on how good and how much energy, and you can actually feel better now 50s, 60s, 70s than you did in your 30s and 40s. How amazing is that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, particularly if what came to mind is if you think about a lot of us that are 50s or older. I mean, I'm older than that, but that a lot of us grew up doing things that we shouldn't have been doing for our health. To be nice about it. And I include myself on that list. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, just myself, you know. And that's what I think is so interesting is because so many of that age group now are like, oh yes, well now we have to get healthy. And it's like, well, yeah, even more so for us.
Even more so because now, I won't say time isn't on our side, because I think time is on our side. Time is where we can now start working. We now have the time to take care of ourselves. We now have the time to learn how to eat. We now have the time to learn how to lift weights and exercise. And here's the thing though, it doesn't take a lot of time. And that's where I think people get caught up on. They're like, oh, I don't have 90 minutes a day to work out. You don't have to. 30 minutes. Can you start lifting weights 2 to 3 times a week? Because muscle is your metabolism. Muscle is what's going to keep you young. It's what's going to keep you fit. And that's what we need. Not the number on the scale. Who cares about that? Let's get some muscle. And that is what's going to make you feel amazing. So, and it does it take time to build muscle? It does. But why not start now? Why wait? Why wait till you go to the doctor's office and the doctor says, I'm looking over at your charts and your blood work didn't come back very good. And then what I hate the most is they say, I think you need to drop about 10 to 15 pounds. Okay. How? Oh, well, just cut carbs. Or they don't tell you anything at all, which is just BS. But they don't know. They're not right. They hand you a diet, or they say, well, this is what I'm doing right now. And here's what you have to realize is that doctors are not nutritionists. Doctors don't get much, just as they don't get much pharmacy training and medication training in school, they get even less in nutrition. So to think that they're going to prescribe you something is not, and is it going to be right? More than likely not. I was just talking to a client whose doctor had first told them, you just need to cut carbs and don't eat much protein and stay below 1,200 calories. Well, no, that is the worst advice ever. Worst advice ever. So if it sounds weird, if it sounds like, a program that says it's too good to be true, or someone says it's just melting off, or I got to do supplements or shakes and it's not real food, walk away. Seriously, walk away, because all it is setting us up for disease. That's all it's doing. And to lose weight rapidly in our age group is not a good thing, because we're losing muscle. And our age group, like I'm going to keep saying, muscle is what we need. We need fuel. We need good fuel. And that good fuel is going to help keep our brains healthy. That good fuel is going to get our muscle going. That good fuel is going to help reverse and prevent disease.
Yeah. It's going to keep our bones strong.
Yeah.
That's huge.
All of that, it's going to keep our it's going to help with depression and anxiety too. It's, we do know that we are now looking at certain things with nutrition and gut health with Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yeah.
When you eat well, you sleep better. And that's also being triggered to depression, anxiety, Alzheimer's, dementia. So thinking that we used to wear no sleep with a badge of honor. It's like, oh, I got 2 to 3 hours of sleep. Great. I can function. No, you need that 7 to 9 hours. That 7 to 9 hours is crucial. And it's also crucial for that muscle building. So don't wear that with a badge of honor, and be okay about getting some sleep, because that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the other thing that happens when we get to that age, 50s, right, and a little older, is that our parents, are living longer. And that's when they start needing us. And you get the phone calls in the middle of the night. Come over, I fell. Or come over, I can't do this. Or, da, 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 da. And that was a killer for me, boy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk about not getting any sleep,
Yeah.
working full time and going, take care of my mom. Oh,
yeah. And I always tell people, it's like, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you are not taking care of yourself, if you are not eating correctly, if you are not moving your body so that you can have energy, how can you take care of somebody else? So maybe that other person's not going to listen to you. Maybe that other person's not going to be like, I'm not going to get healthy, blah, blah, blah. But you have the opportunity to make sure that you are not that person in 20 years, 30 years, that you're able in 20, 30 years to be, like I said before, I'm like, I want to be Betty White. I want to be William Shatner. I want to be Carol Burnett, 90 some years old and thriving, not frail. They don't look frail. They're still active. That's what I want. Dick Van Dyke, still working out, still tap dancing. That's what I want. And there's no reason that we cannot have that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Does it take time? Yes. Do you maybe need to get help, such as a coach? Absolutely. Is it a waste to ever learn something? No.
Right.
Is it a waste to take care of yourself? No. And I think some people don't want to, or I'm not even saying investment. Some people just don't want to invest in that, but that is, it's health. It's keeping yourself out of a place that's not a home. It's keeping yourself independence. Independence is crucial. I think most of us want to live independently. We don't want to have to rely on somebody else. We want to be with friends. Yes. We want to go out and have fun. Yes. But we don't want to be independent on somebody to come and take care of us.
Right. Right. Oh no, exactly. Exactly. And there are, I don't want everybody to get us totally wrong here. We're not saying that every place where people who are in their 80s have gone is the regular stereotypic rest home.
No, there's some nice, there are a lot of nice ones. Yeah.
Where you've got your own home, you've got your own condo or whatever, or your own space. And if you want to eat their meals, that's fine. If you want to make your own, that's fine. And they've got social stuff going on and trips and.
Oh yeah. And those are amazing independent living places. They're great. Those are great. Especially Florida has what the Village is, and they also have Margaritaville, and they have and I know here where I live, there are tons, and that's great for community and health. What I'm talking about is the actual nursing home.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Because the other is what can keep you in touch, without the responsibilities of owning a whole home.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And all that stuff.
Yeah.
Bad enough when you're our age. Let alone when you get older. But, yeah. So talk to me a little bit more about, the pharmaceutical side. Because I think that's one of those things where so many people, my doctor prescribed it. And that means it came from God, right?
Ask questions. I mean, I really ask questions, because just because you were prescribed something. So you remember, modern medicine has a problem, and then they're going to fix it with a medication, or that's what we expect. If you don't go to the doctor and they don't hand you a prescription, you feel like you've been gypped. And we have to get out of that mindset to say, okay, it's okay that I wasn't prescribed an antibiotic this time, or I was okay I wasn't prescribed something. Because even if most people I know, if they're giving like a diabetes or hypertension, prediabetes, hypertension, or high cholesterol, a lot of people I know and people who've come to me as clients say, my doctor said I have 3 months to get my numbers back, or they're going to put me on XYZ. And that's what we'll work on. Which I love that the doctor is giving them an option, not just saying, let me write the prescription. Here you go pay for it, at the pharmacy.
Right. Yeah.
And then especially when I used to work retail, it was kind of, I I don't know what this is, but my doctor says I have to take it.
Oh, God, no.
Never leave the doctor's office without knowing the name of the medication and what it does.
Yes. And what are the negative side effects?
What are the negative side effects? And then, is this something I got to be on for the rest of my life? Is this something that I can get off of? Is this something that if I change my lifestyle that I can decrease or eliminate?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to ask all those questions, because they're so busy, they're not going to get to it. You have to be your own self advocate. You really do. And I say I'm a pharmacist who's not for medication. Is there a purpose for medication? There absolutely is a purpose for medication. But if we can prevent, or if we can reverse with food, with fitness, why don't we go with that route first? Medication second, because once you take one medication, there are side effects. You might have to take another medication because of those side effects. And then it's what's called polypharmacy, which means that you're on a lot of medications. Back when I first started consulting a long time ago, most people were on 8 medications. Now people come in 25, 30 medications.
Oh my God. Really? How can they even keep track of it?
Exactly. That is the norm. That is the norm.
Wow. I had no idea.
And it's because you maybe start out with high blood pressure or cholesterol, and then it goes into high blood pressure. Well, so now you got another medication. You might have 2 or 3 for high blood pressure. Now you're on now you may have prediabetes or diabetes. So now you're looking at 2, 3, 4 medications for that. Chronic illnesses. So you have chronic inflammation, more than likely you're going to have more arthritis than somebody else. So now we're on something for pain and other inflammation. So maybe that's causing.
And you're not going to be exercising.
Not going to be exercising.
You don't feel well.
And it all that stuff works against your gut microbiome. And then now your stomach doesn't feel good. So now you're on stomach medication.
Oh, God.
So it's just, it's one thing after another. And so now you're not eating right. So now you're on all these supplements, a multivitamin, an iron pill that may cause constipation. So now you're on laxatives to see how it kind of goes, affects. But if we stopped it at the point where where the doctor said, you have high blood pressure or you have prediabetes, and we start working with whoever, whether it be me or somebody else, and we start fueling our body the way it needs to, and moving and getting muscle, and we don't have to go on those medications and go on more and more medications. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that what we really, really want? Because I know it seems easier sometimes to take a pill, but then when that pill becomes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 25, that's not easy anymore.
Where you need a chart.
Yeah.
To know what you're supposed to be taking when.
Yeah.
Right. And I've seen people with those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of depression. We see a lot of anxiety in over 50. And where once again, if we're feeding our body real food, ultra processed foods actually increase anxiety and depression. We see it all the time. It actually increases higher weight, increases your chance of diabetes, increases your chance what's called metabolic syndrome, increases chronic fatigue, chronic fatigue and chronic illness and chronic inflammation. So all these things are being linked to ultra processed foods. And I have several chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia clients who, once we started getting rid of that, does that mean that they're cured? No, but we have put them in a state where they're not getting those flare-ups.
It's under control.
And they can live and they feel so much better. And when they do get the flare-ups, they're not as intense. So it doesn't take them out of their life.
Wow.
It's just, it sometimes that sounds simple. It's just by eating and moving,
no.
But that is, but it seems, but some people, and I understand why it seems so hard sometimes, because there is so much information out there. There is so much conflicting information out there. You see this program, you'll see this program says this, and this program says this, and I should eat less, move more, which does not work. We all know that. Or maybe don't, but it does not work. So let me say that again. Eat less, move more does not work. Our bodies don't
it's
work
more
that
and
way.
more.
Yeah, exactly. And it's what you eat that counts. Not you can have 1,200 calories worth of Snickers bars and crap, or you can have 1,200 calories of fruits, vegetables, meat, grains,
protein. Yeah.
and feel amazing. Your body sees the difference. And I love when doctors say, oh, but it's calories. It doesn't make a difference. Your body doesn't function on crap. Your body functions on minerals, on what's called macronutrients, micronutrients. Macronutrients being your fat, your carbs, your protein, your micronutrients being your vitamins and minerals. Your body needs that for all the chemical reactions that occur.
Right. Yep.
If you're not fueling your body with the right kind of fuel, if you have a Ferrari, you're not going to put regular gas in it. It's not going to work. You have a diesel, you can't put regular gas in it. So why we think we can put crap in our body and expect it to run like a Ferrari is not, it makes no sense.
Well, and especially if you put on top of that, right, when you do hit 50, not on the day of, obviously.
Sometimes it seems that way, though.
Well, that's true. That's true. But it's been coming for a little while.
It's been coming, yeah.
But your body cannot necessarily take advantage of the foods as well as when you're 30 years old, right? It can't break it down and use it. And that's why it's even more important to be knowledgeable and aware of what it is you're putting in your mouth.
Absolutely. Especially as we age, we actually need more protein.
Yes.
And I always get pushback on this because, oh, but my kidneys or this. No, unless you have a kidney disease problem, then that's a kid. Then that's totally different. That's totally different. But if you are right now okay and you don't have any other issues, then we absolutely need more protein because it's true. We don't break it down as well as we did in our 20s and 30s. So we need it, and we need it to build the muscle. We need it for our metabolism. We need it for the chemical reactions in our body so that, what I see a lot of times in my nursing homes, in my patients' nursing homes, a lot of times they're admitted due to low protein. And when you have low protein, now we're looking at wounds that don't heal. So if you have a sore that's not healing a lot, try to add some protein and also go see your doctor so that we can see what's going on. But that's a big indication of wound healing is how much protein that you're taking into your system.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And, I think even a lot of younger people end up with anemia and all these kinds of problems and don't even realize it. And it's because they are staying away from the protein.
Yeah. And we're also seeing with younger people, just because of the amount of processed foods in their diet, we're seeing cancers, especially colon cancer. We're seeing that a lot in 40 and younger now, where think about our colon screen used to be 50 and above. I had my first one.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Because
me too.
Because of COVID not too long ago. It was, not fun, but very, very necessary. But it was 50. Now they've moved it to 45 because of the amount of younger people they're seeing with colon cancer. But what they're seeing though is younger than 40. And it is being directly related to our ultra processed foods, not getting fiber. Fiber is huge. We should be getting at least,
that's number one.
25 grams per day, at least 25 grams per day. Most people get less than 10.
Wow.
Because ultra-processed food, convenience food, does not have fiber.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So if you're not eating your avocados, your nuts, your fruits that has, apples, salads, broccoli, kale, spinach. If you're not oatmeal, rice, brown rice, if you're not eating these things that have fiber in them, and you're going through the drive-through, or just eating sandwiches and chips.
Or eating cereal out of a box.
Yeah. It's that's, and it could say fiber fortified, but if it's still a bunch of sugar, it's not going to make a difference. So
it's like eating cardboard. Yeah.
Yeah. So absolutely. So if we're not getting our fiber, that's another issue. And fiber also helps when we talk about the gut microbiome, which is almost considered your second brain. And what I mean by gut microbiome is all that.
That's what they're calling it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all that good bacteria is necessary, and good bacteria needs fuel also. And it gets that fuel from fiber, from whole foods, which is real food. It does not do well with ultra processed foods or sugar or artificial foods.
Yeah.
And so if you're doing I'm going fat free. Well, fat free is a lot of chemicals, lots of chemicals.
Yeah.
Convenience food, ultra processed food, additives, sugar, chemicals, all of that kind of wipes your gut microbiome, all that good bacteria to cause other disease states, chronic inflammation, possibly Alzheimer's. We're finding a lot of information lately about Alzheimer's and how it is affected with our diets and how we move.
Yeah. Well, and some of the things I've read as well, the microbiome is actually the brain.
Yeah.
Your brain.
We call this second brain.
Just, Yeah. I understand that, but they're saying that actually that's where your real brain stuff happens, and the other is actually your second brain.
Because the way the microbiome works, how it breaks down the food, the chemicals, the enzymes,
and feeds
and hormones that get released.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask you about next. Yes.
Yeah, it tells the brain how to process or how not to process.
That's right.
And if we don't have those microbiome enzymes, hormones working, things get all crazy and backed up or not working, or signals get crossed, or signals don't get delivered in the first place. And yes, this may be very technical, but once again, what does it come down to? It comes down to eating real food. That's what it comes down to. All these things that your body is telling you what it needs and how it needs to work. And it says, hey, feed me real food. Yeah. So you don't even have to get into all the chemistry and all, which is to me is just fascinating. You don't even get into all of that.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But if you want to reduce inflammation, if you want to reduce disease states, if you want to try to reverse disease states, or if you even just want to feel better, you start eating real food. And does it take some time? Does it take some practice? It does. Baby steps. I always tell people baby steps. When I coach my clients, we start on a 6-week program. Everything's a little baby steps. I try to make them from what's called a sugar burner into a fat burner, and so that we can build muscle. And it's baby steps, because you don't want to, I always call it analysis paralysis. If you throw too much at you, you kind of you kind of bottleneck and just like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. It's just so much.
Where's my energy bar? Right?
Exactly. It's like, I want the easy stuff. Where's Amazon Prime when I need it? Right. I want my body in Amazon Prime, or I want my health in Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
If you go baby steps and you work a little bit every day, one of my favorite authors, Atomic Habits, by James Clear, talks about just getting better by 1% every day.
Yes.
Not jumping all in and going 100%.
That never works.
Because perfection doesn't work. And that's the other thing, is to realize that you're going for progress, to realize that we're not meant to be perfect. But if we show up every day just a little bit better every day, that progress will add up. And then once you know, it's your lifestyle. And all of a sudden, you know how to do this. And all of a sudden, you wake up in the morning and you don't even have to think about it anymore, because it's now become your lifestyle.
That's right. That's right.
It takes practice, and it just takes, I don't like motivation. I just say consistency, because motivation comes and goes. Motivation is great December 31st into January 1st. Motivation is great. By January 21st, it's gone. Life has happened.
That long?
It's usually less than that. But around January 14th, 15th is when people say, nah, I'm done. Yeah. But if you work on consistency and you work on getting better every day, then that is what will get you going. Motivation will come and go. You'll have these great kind of wins. We call them non-scale victories. And it could be, one of my clients today messaged me and said, his non-scale victory was down a belt loop. And I'm like, that's awesome. Another one was like, I have way more energy than I ever have. And those non-scale victories will keep you going, and those non-scale victories will keep that motivation, but you'll know that every single day you show up, every single day you add a little bit more consistency, you'll get better and better and better. And then it's a lifestyle. It's the way you are, and to how you identify with yourself now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes too, not everybody can eat, right, all foods, be they good or bad.
Yeah.
Personally, I have a whole lot of allergies.
But you do your best. And
but all I'm saying is that if you don't realize you have allergies,
yes,
sometimes you can eat something and you feel like,
and you need to listen to your body. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And it's not because you're eating health. It's not because you've changed your diet to be healthfully. It's that your body is telling you, no, that's not something that you should be putting in your mouth.
Right. And if, for my clients, because I have some people with allergies, but I start everybody dairy and gluten. I take dairy and gluten out of everybody's.
Exactly. Yep.
And
first
thing is the majority. And the reason I take dairy and gluten out is because they are very, very, very much inflammatory. Yes. And what most people don't realize, because I also do genetics, I'm a functional genetic practitioner, is that 90% of the people that I have seen in genetics, including myself, have some kind of gluten intolerance, not necessarily celiac, but there's a gluten intolerance. And a lot of times you don't realize is that you go to a party, you eat something, you're like, oh, why is my stomach hurt so bad? Or joints are flared up, or
you get the runs,
or you have a migraine the next day. Yeah. Oh, it must have been the alcohol, but it may not have been the alcohol. It could have been what you ate. And I get a lot of pushback on that. Like, what do you mean I have to give up this? What do you mean 6 weeks? Let's see what happens for this 6 weeks. After 6 weeks, we can add some of it back in and see what goes on. 90% of my clients will have something that happens, whether they go out and they have gluten, usually not about 50% dairy, but most of it's gluten. We'll go out, have something. Oh, you know what? I've been good for the 6 weeks instead of looking at it as a journey, but I'm going to try and see what happens. And then I'll get a text message the next day going, oh my gosh, Amy, you were right. I'm like, right about what? I had this bun last night. And I don't look at it, and I never say it's cheated. I said you had a learning experience. No. Yeah. It's like, so how did,
at that point, it's a learning experience.
I'm like, so how did that make you feel? Oh, I feel horrible. Oh, I have a headache, or my joints are aching. I haven't felt this way since before the program. And I'm like, so what does that tell you? I never want to feel this way again. And I'm like, well, see, but you didn't realize that was the problem until you took it away. And so you have to listen to your body and understand that sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and understand that once, you can try this, but don't keep forcing it. If you're like, oh, that's not right. I know I'm okay. I know I'm okay. So I know I'm okay with gluten, and then do it again and do it again. And then before you know it, you're not feeling good again, where if you listen to your body, your body's telling you exactly what it wants. It tells you exactly what it doesn't want.
Yeah. Bingo. Yes.
Yeah. And that does not mean that gluten-free cookies, gluten-free baked goods, gluten-free this, because just like, probably since we're all over our 50s, we all remember SnackWells back in the day. And
that was actually after me, but yeah.
Okay. So SnackWells back in the 80s when we all went fat-free for a while. And everything was fat-free. Everything was fat-free salad dressing, fat-free snacks, fat-free this, and it was all chemicals. And guess what happened to our waistlines? We all got bigger.
Yep.
Diet industry, the nutrition industry, the food industry is smart, and they want to make money. They're not in it for your health. They're in it to make the almighty dollar. So you will see gluten-free Oreos. You will see. I love when it's funny how something that never had gluten in it before now is gluten-free, but you'll see everything that looks like gluten,
like a piece of fruit, right?
Yeah, right. It's like, gluten-free this, gluten-free. So it's funny how you'll see that, but understand that just because it says gluten-free doesn't mean it's healthy. It's still a processed food. And it doesn't mean that you're to replace that with something that is a real food. It's a treat. And I am all for treats, because if we tell ourselves we can't have treats, we want it even more.
Yes.
It's the 2-year-old in us. It's like someone tells us no, we're like, then you can't get it out of your mind. So treats are fine. Treats are great. You just have to be able to plan them and enjoy them. And I'm for someone, if you're going to have a treat, let's have a good one. Let's not make it a gluten-free Oreo. Let's make it something good.
Yeah.
British Bake Off. I love, Prue, who says if it's not worth the calories, it's not worth it. And she has a thing. If it doesn't taste good, why are you even bothering with it?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And you can even find some healthy chocolate or,
dark chocolate. I
mean, that's out there with very little sugar, if any sugar in it at all, or coconut sugar or whatever.
Well, but once you start eating real food, it's amazing how blueberries taste like candy, how bananas are sweeter, and strawberries are just, especially when they're in season, and cherries. And we just got some mangoes, and the mangoes are just, they're just bursting with flavor. Yeah. But when you get rid of the chemicals, when you get rid of the added sugar, the processed food, all of a sudden your taste buds explode, and things that you really couldn't taste before, all of a sudden your tasting is like, this is amazing. This tastes like candy. This tastes so sweet. I'm tasting all the flavors. And that's just from getting rid of all those chemicals and all that other crap that you don't need.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yes. Well, on that note, I think you summarized everything that we talked about, which is perfect timing. And so let everyone know where is the best place to find you. And then I will also put that in the show notes.
The best place is actually my website, and it is amykwilson.com. And like you said before, I have a very, very popular name. And so it's AMYKWILSON. I had to put my middle initial in there because you would be surprised at how many Amy Wilsons are out there.
What can I say? There's a lot of Wilsons, period, I think.
There's a lot of Wilsons,
That's a
period.
popular name.
Yeah, there's a lot of Wilsons, period. And Amy is a very popular name from my age group.
Okay. I believe you.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you very much for coming on. I will close by saying what I always say, which is that neither of us are doctors, and this is not to be seen as medical advice. And with that, I will be seeing everybody next week.
This has been Healthy Tips After 50 with Susan Rosen. To stay on the cutting edge of the most effective health strategies, subscribe to this podcast and let us know what you thought of the show with a comment or like on iTunes. Visit healthytipsafter50.com for this episode's show notes, more resources, and free offers.